What's up, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Coolfigurez Toy News Toy Talk podcast, where we will be talking and discussing all the latest and great toy news, toy reveals, and of course, pre-orders. If you love action figures, toy collecting, or anything like that, then welcome to the Coolfigurez channel. This channel is all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. I upload new videos constantly throughout the week, so make sure you hit that bell icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. And if you do happen to enjoy this video or any of my other ones, please remember to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know to keep making some great free content for you guys. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, guys. It is a very small goal of mine. Try to reach at least one new subscriber per new video that I put out. So please be my one new subscriber for this video. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, I would not ask you for any kind of money. Rather, just watch my videos from start to finish. That's all I ask. Thank you so much. As always, the information on this channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. I will be your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. And once again, guys, welcome to episode 1 of the Coolfigurez Toy News Toy Talk podcast, where we will be discussing all the latest and great toy news, reveals, and of course pre-orders. So before we get into that, because we have a lot to go over with it being Comic-Con week and all the big manufacturers having cons of their own and whatnot, I did want to mention, if you have been on the fence about joining or starting to collect the World of Halo figures, now would be your time, because they are going on clearance at Walmart and Target. Not every item, but the majority of them. The Warthog is $20 at Target on clearance. The Phantom Ghost, or just the Ghost, I'm sorry, is $11 at Walmart. And the 2-pack with the UNS Marine and the Grunt is $16.99 at Target right now. So go ahead and go find them if you can, because those are some great prices, I have to admit, for these figures. I wouldn't have paid the full price, but these prices are very good for these figures. And all my reviews for these figures will be up later this week, so you guys can get a closer look. But if you want them, then now would be the time to go get them and start hunting for them. So with that out of the way, guys, we have so much to talk about, and I actually have my list right here of notes. I also wanted to mention this guy isn't part of the World of Halo, obviously, but what I am going to be doing here is putting up my most recent finds and buys probably right here on the table, so you guys can see. That way it's not too plain and whatnot, and you guys can get an idea of what's to come later on, later on down the week in my review videos and whatnot, since you'll be seeing what I'll be getting. I also, besides these, have also recently got into the Jetta diecast 124 Batmobiles, and I basically got them all, thankfully, on this week's toy hunt. I'll have links to those videos up above as well. And I basically am just missing the animated series and the prototype Batmobile, but I don't want the prototype Batmobile from The Dark Knight Rises. I just want the animated series one now. So we'll see if we find it in stores. If not, Amazon has it in stock, so we'll see where we get it from. But with that being said, guys, let's get right on into the news, because as you can see, I have 2 pages full of notes, front and back. So like I said, many of the big companies this week have had cons of their own, since Comic-Con obviously isn't happening this year, and I honestly prefer it this way. Not that cons aren't going on, but the ability to collect the con exclusives online, because me personally, I've only ever been to WonderCon and not like San Diego Comic-Con or anything like that. So any kind of exclusive like that, I'd have to pay overpriced on the third-party market, and that's never fun. I'm sure most of you know that. So having access to these exclusives online and even in store is pretty cool. And I think moving forward from 2020 and 2021 onwards, I think these companies will continue this trend, because they'll see that a lot of people want to get their hands on these exclusives. The only thing is, and I'm sure those of you that go to cons and especially Comic-Con, it's a lot of cash all at once, and so it's pretty nerve-wracking and stress when it comes to that, because you have to worry about your finances, and then also depending on how many lines you're into, you have to determine which ones you're going to order, if they overlap with other order times, and so it's just a lot to handle. And I'm happy to say that for the majority of the things that I wanted, I did get. I had to skip and just say no to a few of them, just because they were more of like want buys and not like, okay, this is what I need for my collection, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, I can use this later on down the line, or this would be a nice accessory for this, or accessory piece to this. But so I had to pass on a few. One of them being the NECA Channel 6 news crew. 175 was just too much for me, especially with that bundle. The only thing I would have wanted would have been the poster that it came with, but at the same time, it's a cool accessory set. I don't think I'd ever use the figures per se, but maybe I could. Maybe now that I'm thinking back on it, I think I might have messed up on skipping that, because I did recently pre-order the NECA 4-pack In Disguise Turtles, and so I'll be getting those in, as well as the Stern Pinball Shredder. I'll be talking about that as well during the news once I actually get into it. So now that I'm thinking about it, guys, did I mess up passing up on that bundle? The good thing is they said it will be available at Targets later on in the year, so I'm hoping that if I find it in the wild, I'm hoping that I find it in the wild, because if I do, then I will pick it up then. The only thing I'm missing out on would be that giant poster of the Channel 6 news building, which honestly might come in handy since I don't have the animated street diorama sets. I just have the regular ones, so that would have made a better background. But you know what, that's for 175. I think I can pass up on that one background poster piece, and hopefully find it for, what is it, about $50 cheaper in stores, and get the accessories and everything. Because at first, right now, I was thinking I probably wouldn't display the figures or have really anything to use them for, but especially now that I'm thinking about that I pre-ordered the Turtles in Disguise pack, that could make a pretty funny scene if they're catching them on camera and whatnot. So like as they're like either getting into disguise or out of disguise. So yeah, I always come up with these great ideas after I miss these products. So just like we will talk about another product that I was thinking about and I took too long to decide on, and I missed out. We'll talk about that later on when we get to there. So finally, let's just go ahead and jump right into the NECA news. Like I said, most of the major companies did have their own cons. I'll mainly be going over NECA Con because that is one of my favorite toy brands right now, and I won't be going over Mattel's. I think they had one. Target's been having one all month basically. I'll be going over a few of their pre-orders here and there if they tie into franchises that I have here. And Walmart Con is currently going on. So if you didn't know, if you are a TMNT fan, the Playmates 2-pack TMNT sets have most likely been unveiled and released for pre-order on the Walmart website. So if you're watching this, they may already be out of stock, but if not, go and check just to be sure. I will not be collecting those because I have way too many versions of the Turtles currently, and I still have more on the way. Like I said, I had the NECA 4-pack Disguise 4-pack on pre-order from them when they open that up, and then I also have the Super 7 Turtles coming, and those guys are massive. So my Turtles display is pretty full. If I remember while I'm editing, or if I hear myself talking about it, I'll try to remember to take a video of my display. It's actually right here, but I don't want to move the camera right now, so I'll cut a video in of it so you guys can see how extensive that collection is and how I really don't have any space for those. Just like they just unveiled the Battle Damage. I can never remember the name of this company. It's the one that creates like the AC/DC, the Slash figures, the little 5-inch, the Napoleon Dynamite. I can never remember the name of that company, but they just unveiled their regular TMNT figures not too long ago, and today they unveiled their black and white Battle Damage. So they're essentially the same figures, just in black and white with some red marks everywhere, and I believe their bandanas are red as well, just like the classic comics. So yeah, I mean, there's that. So getting into NECACon though, we're going to talk about everything that they unveiled, but we will just kind of go fast over some of the things that I'm not really into. But like I said, NECA is pretty much my favorite toy company at the moment. So I absolutely love everything that they do. A lot of their figures you can mix into other franchises and use for a lot of different things. So jumping right on in, they didn't start with Defenders of the Universe, but I'm going to go in the order of like how much I'm into it until we get to the end, so that way, because if I start talking about what I'm really into that they announced, we're never going to get to this other stuff. So starting off with Defenders of the Universe, they did say they are going to come out with 3 comic accurate figures classic versions, at least right now, that they have announced. And that's going to be Flash, Ming, and Ghost. And they are going to have, like I said, their classic look. So Flash is coming with a sword, a blaster, and a laser fire accessory. And Ming's coming with a blaster from what I saw as well. And then Ghost is coming in his classic striped briefs. He's getting two guns like in the classic comic and not in the cartoon, as Randy pointed out. And he will also come with a skull accessory and a whip and a net and a few other things they said. And the eyes on the Ghost and the eyes on the Ghost skull belt both glow in the dark. So that's pretty cool. And that's one of the figures that I was talking about from NECA that can mix in with almost any other franchise. And it was actually kind of funny because after I saw that, the NECACon reveals and everything, I was like, if I see that original Phantom figure that they've released already in stores, I think I'm going to pick it up. And lo and behold, I actually found it at a Target, but I did not pick it up only because I was on my way, or I was going to be on my way to go hit up a GameStop that had Steppenwolf in stock. So I already knew I was going to drop 40 on him. And the Ghost figure, or the Phantom figure, is 30. So I was like, Steppenwolf or Ghost, which, don't get me wrong, the Ghost figure is really cool and all, but if I'm being honest, I wanted Steppenwolf more than anything to really complete my Zack Snyder Justice League team and villain pack. By the way, McFarlane needs to really, hopefully they release some Parademons, because that would be really dope. And that would actually be the first army builder for McFarlane Toys, if I'm not mistaken, which would be really cool, but really expensive too, because they are definitely going up in price. I recently got the new Shriek build a figure version figure from Target, and that thing cost me $30, guys. So yeah, price of toys is definitely going up. We've noticed it in Black Series, but now I'm noticing it in a lot of other things. That's what I'm saying. If you were wondering or contemplating jumping into the World of Halo line, I would highly suggest jumping in now, because like I said, for $11 this Ghost is really cool. For $16.99 you get this guy and a UNS Marine, which are really hard to find, and they're actually going for like $20 to $30 a piece on the aftermarket. And this Warthog is $20 from $30. So, and this is actually a really nice detailed Warthog with a lot of nice cool stuff. Like I said, all my reviews not reveals, but reviews for this stuff will come later on this week. And I also have some older Halo figures that I will be comparing them to. I have an old Warthog and an old Ghost, so you'll see the comparison to those as well. So continuing on with the NECA Con, we also are going to get a 2-pack movie homage to the classic movie from the 80s with almost accurate figures. Since they don't have the actual rights, they kind of tweaked it a bit, made it so that they were retro type cloth figures, different scale and whatnot. You know how companies have to go. Those will be available at Walmart later on in the year. I believe he said August or end of summer. And last but not least for them, for the Defenders line, they are coming out with two 1979 classic style Flash and Ming 7-inch figures. These are con exclusives. I believe they went up the same day that the Channel 6 News Turtles went up, so I'm pretty sure they're sold out, unfortunately, if this is the first time you're hearing it, but I'm sure this is not. And like I stated in my intro video, if you haven't watched it, it'll be linked up above right here. This isn't really like a news kind of a podcast story thing. Right now it seems like it, because I'm not really getting into it, but I started this channel because I wanted to engage with more toy collectors and people like me. So I'm talking about this kind of fast right now because I'm not really into this line, but eventually I'm going to get into stuff that I am into, and you're going to see me really talk about those stuff more in depth. So don't think of this more as like a Foosh weekly, podcast or anything, because while he does linger on certain things, he keeps it more contained, and whereas me, I might rant on about a certain product for a while. So just bear with me. And I know it seems like a news one right now, but once we get to like other stuff, especially the last thing that I was super excited for that they announced, and it was one of the earlier things that they announced in the live stream. So hold off with me. So they also announced some new boys figures coming in the line, the Black Noir and A Train. I'm not really into that show. I haven't watched it, I'll be honest. But that Black Noir does look like a cool figure that could fit in with a lot of other lines and crossovers. Like I said, NECA just has a really good way of doing that with figures. I know it's not their like character or anything, but their figures just fit since they're all the same scale. You know, that's the other thing. They all come from the same company. They're all 7-inch scale, unless you go to like the Retro Cloth or the other ones. But if you're sticking with the Ultimates, they're all going to be in the same scale, so they're all going to scale well together, so they're all going to photograph well together when you do crossover pics. And that's basically what it's all about, guys. So they did announce a bunch of horror stuff too. They announced a 2-pack Bride of Chucky retro cloth figures. Talking about retro cloth figures, you will get 2 Chucky portraits, a cloth skirt with a wire, real chain and on the heart, 2 guns, 2 knives, and an axe. They also announced the Halloween 2 40th anniversary Loomis and Michael Myers Ultimate 2-pack, and this will be the first time ever getting Loomis in the ultimate form. And while I don't collect horror film or horror figures, I am a big classic horror film enthusiast. It's just when you have an extensive collection of everything else that I have, you really have to pick and choose and which rabbit holes you want to go down. And the horror one is just a huge rabbit hole to go down, because every horror franchise has 6, 7, 8, 10 movies, and of course NECA is going to make you a figure of each movie. Just look at the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street lines, and even the Halloween, so, and their attention to detail is so great that you need every figure, because you know that you can see them especially when they're lined up, like, okay, this is from the first movie, this is from the second, this is from the third, because they just pay so much great attention to those details in these figures, because they are fans themselves. So with that being said, let's move on. Loomis does come with a lighter hand, and they're going to come with about 5 to 6 snap-on flame effects. So that's even if you're not a fan of Halloween or don't collect horror movie stuff, those accessories should be enough for you to want to buy this 2-pack. Because you could probably snap those on in almost any Ultimate figure, so that's really cool. And that's the other thing about NECA. They have a really good knack and making you want to buy some of their sets regardless of whether or not you're into that franchise or collecting that franchise, simply because they come with such great accessories that once again scale with all their other figures, because they're all Ultimates and they all fit in that scale. So not crossing over, but continuing on, they did tease that the Creepshow movie figure is going to be coming out soon. They didn't show any images. They just showed the classic movie poster. But they did mention he's going to come with a couple of heads, a wired rope, and a candle. They said there's more stuff coming for the Thing in 2022, so stay tuned for that if you're into that. They showed off the Station Survival McGreedy, or I'm hoping I said that right because I haven't seen the movie. He's going to come with the flamethrower and the flame effect to attach to it, and like I said, they said more will be coming in 2022. And they also teased Boris Karloff's, sorry about that, mummy figures, so that's really cool. They didn't really specify any release date or anything else or what it's going to come with, but I believe it's going to come with the tomb accessory because it looked like it was sitting in something that snaps onto it. So moving on, they did say that the Predator Lost Tribe will be completed, so for those of you that are fans of that line, stay tuned for that. And they will be re-releasing the Capcom Alien Xenomorphs in a movie accurate paint colors to make them look a little more slimy and scary, and they won't be in their video game colors, but the colors of the Xenomorphs in the movie. So moving on from that, they did talk about their gargoyles. They showed off, the main one that they showed off a while ago, and they also showed Demona. She comes with 2 big laser guns, a book, and 2 head sculpts, and they teased that Thalos is coming. I hope I'm saying that right once again, because I did not watch that show growing up, but those do look like really cool figures. They just look giant. I'm sorry, but I have no space to. If the wingspan just looks ridiculous on that stuff. I mean, it's literally probably about this wide. So if you have space for them, go for it. I don't, but they are really cool looking figures. They say he's going to come with another alternate head sculpt, a brand new head sculpt actually, a flare gun, a briefcase with money. Apparently that has to do with the episode he was in. So continuing on to that, from that, where is my other stuff? We get to my second favorite line that they were talking about, which is, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they started off by showing off the packaging for Danny in the 1990 movie, which you could have gotten in the Loot Crate, which I missed out on because it said it was an open order until a certain date, and then all of a sudden they said limited supply, and all of a sudden it sold out, and I completely missed out on that. So I was really looking forward to getting the Donnie in disguise as as a superhero, as well as that Danny Pennington figure. But it's not too big of a loss. I mean, it's Danny. What's he gonna do? Sit around in the background? Well, he doesn't really do much but mope and steal in the movie, right? But I am excited for the April O'Neil figure, and also the newly announced unmasked Casey Jones head with the new head sculpt. That is very much accurate to Elias. It looks amazing. They did say they put new elbow joints in it, so it doesn't look too awkward like the original release. And he comes with a new accessory, which is his mask, of course, and it looks really cool. It looks like they used some really good material for the stuff that holds it in place. And they did reveal a con exclusive Super Shredder, guys. And this will be their third one. And with this one, since it is a con exclusive, they did do a little more to it so that he can be a little more different than the other two releases. So it does look more like a metallic shiny purple. They sculpted more of a wrestling type belt for him. But the big reveal for me that I was super excited for and super hyped for, and I cannot wait for, is of course Shredder from Secret of the Ooze. I cannot wait to get figures from that movie. They said more is to come, which I really hope we get a Professor. That would be really cool. So with that being said, he does come with a whole grip of great Secret of the Ooze accessories. He comes with, of course, the giant dandelion that his foot ninja finds when he's undercover working with April O'Neil as one of her technicians on her crew. He also comes, of course, with an ooze canister, as all Shredders do. Or actually, his first release didn't, but the Super Shredders do come with it. So that's what I was thinking. Sorry. He comes with a short sword and sheath that they said they could not fit into the Orokosaki and Hamato Yoshi 2-pack. They said it was already too jam-packed with accessories, and the fact that they don't use too many weapons in Secret of the Ooze, they decided to put it with this Shredder. And I gotta say, the picture that they show makes it look amazing. I know it's not movie accurate, but it does add some nice oomph to the Shredder in a way. Growing up, it's kind of like the goofier Shredder compared to the first one, but adding that sword and sheath really adds something to him. So I'm really excited about that. But the most important thing that I am excited about is that he comes with a vial of ooze. That, once again, the attention to detail that NECA gives to these figures is out of this world. And they did tease a Mirage Fugitoid figure to come in the future, so look out for that. I'm really hoping they revisit the Mirage era and give us new Mirage figures with updated articulation and sculpt and paint, or even just re-release the old ones. Give it to us. I don't care. I mean, I just really want some. I do have reviews of the bootlegs on my channel if you want to check those out. There's some of my more viewed videos, so go ahead and check those out. I'll try to remember to leave links above if I can remember. So next up, they did move on to the NECA cartoon turtles, and so they did show off Anthrax and Slumbug. While I have been watching the show, I did not grow up with the show, so I have no real attachment, but I did buy the NECA 4-pack in disguise pack because I just like that version of the turtles. And like I said, I've been watching it. I bought the whole box set on Amazon for like $40, or I think it was actually like 30. And so like I said, I've been enjoying it, but I didn't grow up with it. I don't have that nostalgic touch and feel and attachment to it like some of these older people do. So I don't need and want every box set that comes out, mainly just the main ones. Like I said, I did recently pre-order the Stern Pinball off of Walmart's website a day or two before they actually put a few up on Stern Pinball's website, and I was super excited. I had it in my cart, and it was $50 something, and I was like, okay. Shipping was $15 and tax added another few dollars to that, and I think in total it said $87. I just want the figure mainly. So for me to pay $87 for that figure, it seems outrageous, and I wasn't willing to do that. So I exited it and closed the page, and I figured I'll never see that figure. And then a day or two later, Toy Shiz posted on his story that they did put a few up on Walmart.com. They didn't have a large, so I had to get an extra large, but or actually they didn't even ask my size, they just asked, so I don't know what size shirt I'm getting. But I am getting the shredder, and if anything, I actually really do like that shredder because it has a metallic paint, and he's shredder, so he should have like a metallic look to him, since he's made of all metal and whatnot. And that's really good because buying him in the regular release is pretty expensive, everywhere else, because that's just the way it is with those NECA turtles. So I'm pretty happy I got them for $50 retail, and you get a few extra goodies. And who knows, maybe I'll do a giveaway with some of the other stuff that comes in that box. With that being said, let's go ahead and continue on with the NECA turtles. They did also show off Ground Chuck and Dirtbag, and Dirtbag can actually twist at the waist and be attached to a ground accessory piece that looks like he's burrowing up from the ground. So that's really cool. They also showed off Wingnut and Screw Loose. I'm not really too big on those guys, on that look. If you've seen the 2012 Nickelodeon version of the TMNT cartoon, I do like their versions because they're more similar to Batman and Robin than they are here. So yeah, but if you're into that, that's coming up. They also showed off Chrome Dome, their biggest figure in that line yet, and they also said he comes with the most accessories than the normal 2-pack, so that's pretty exciting. So that should be coming out soon. And once again, they did announce that Channel 6 Crew and Studio 2-pack. Like I said, it was an online exclusive, and it will be showing up in Target stores later on this year. They also teased a cartoon Toka and Razar. So they said more is to come in 2022, and I'm sure that's what's there. I'll put the image up above, and let me know down in the comments below if you think that's Toka and Razar, or if you think it's somebody else. Alright, I'm getting to the thing that I was most excited about, and I really wish they would have saved it till the end, but I know Turtles is their biggest line, and this is one of their newer franchises that they've acquired. But this was my biggest reveal. Well, not the first thing I'm going to talk about, but the second one was the biggest reveal for me and the thing I was most excited about. And so they did announce and show off a fully painted Griff Tannen, which they showed off a few weeks ago for the Back to the Future anniversary on their Twitter page, but it was an unpainted sculpt, and they showed off the two heads. They were both unpainted, but they showed off a painted version of it, and they said he's coming with a hoverboard, telescoping bat, and 2 head sculpts, one with the helmet, one without. So I'm really looking forward to that figure because I am a huge Back to the Future fan, and that's just another great figure to add to my collection. But the figure that they announced second, the one that I've been clamoring for since they started this line, that I've been saying we need a 1985 Doc Brown, and they finally announced it. And on top of that, not only did they announce the figure that I've been waiting for this whole time, they said he has so many accessories, or they came up with so many accessories for him, and honestly all the other figures, that they are planning a Back to the Future accessory pack in the future, guys. And that is what I am most excited for as well, because if it's anything like the TMNT one that they just recently released, it is going to be jam-packed with so much great stuff, and I cannot wait. So that basically wraps it up for the NECACon and the NECA announcements. We're going to run through a few other announcements as well, because there have been other companies that have been making some announcements, such as McFarlane. They announced their Lobo figure. That thing looks really cool. I'm hoping that he's a little bigger, thicker, and chunkier than the other regular McFarlane figures, because that's just what he is. I hope he scales. I mean, obviously not as tall and big as this guy, but I think he should be a little thicker and bigger than a regular release. They also said that Superboy Prime from Infinite Crisis is coming as well. So those of you that are fans of that series, he's coming. And also during Target's Geek Out celebration, or whatever they were having, they did release pre-orders for the Dr. Alan Grant and male Raptor from Jurassic Park 3 in Mattel's Amber collection, and those things quickly sold out. But as you've seen, they're clearancing out those items in all Targets. All those Jurassic Park items get clearanced out. So the people that really wanted it are getting it in pre-orders, and the people that are on the fence are going to pick them up in stores when they're on clearance, because that's just what's been going on with all of them. Although this is Dr. Alan Grant, so this is the main character, and like I've said, I've yet to pick up any of them, but I think I have to pick him up. And so we'll see. If I see him in stores, I'll consider picking him up. But if I see that he's peg warming everywhere, I might wait till he gets put on clearance. So they also there was also leaked images of Muldoon, and he will be coming September 3rd per somebody's Amazon order or pre-order. It showed up in their orders. A little picture real quick. I'll put it up right here. It's not the clearest picture since there's a bunch of watermarks all over it, but it does say September 3rd that it will be delivered. So Sideshow also had their Sideshow Con. Now, I do not collect Hot Toys or any kind of that stuff, although I have purchased a few things from Sideshow Collectibles in terms of figures. I wish I could. I wish I could afford them. I just, one figure for about $300-400 versus about 10 figures for that, or a little more depending if you find good deals, clearance, sales, or anything like that. But like I said, it's not that I don't want to collect them. It's just I can't afford them. And also the space. They're so big. It's like they literally take up a whole shelf, like especially one of these smaller ones right here. But I am going to be doing some moving some stuff around, putting some stuff up and whatnot, so I may have some free shelf. So who knows, maybe I will invest in a Hot Toy one of these days, sometime soon. But like I said, Sideshow did have their own con, and I definitely wanted something. I'm not going to go over everything that they had, but I am going to go over 3 things in particular that they showed off that I definitely wanted, but I will never have. Except for maybe one. We'll see what the price is when they actually release it, because it was a reveal and not a pre-order, so we don't know how much it's going to be yet, but I'm sure it'll be a good $300-400 at least. But first off, let's start with the 1/1 Heath Ledger Dark Knight Joker bust, guys. When I saw this thing on screen, I was waiting for it to come alive because it is so lifelike. It is the most realistic representation of Heath Ledger brought to life. That's not Heath Ledger. So they captured his likeness so well. They put so many great details in the base and everything. Unfortunately, but at the same time, it's understandable, it is $4,000. So if you have $4,000 to burn and you love Heath Ledger's Joker, head over to Sideshow Collectibles and get yours now. Now, they did also show off a mannequin Superman statue, and alongside it, they did also show off a Crypto the Super Dog one. Honestly, I just love that thing and I want it. So that's the figure, or that's the one that I was talking about. That was not a pre-order, it was a reveal, so we don't know how much or when it's going to be released. But look at it. I mean, regardless of whether you're a Superman or a Crypto fan, that thing just looks awesome. It's a dog with a cape, and he looks like he's having the time of his life flying. So you definitely are going to want that if you just love dogs. And the last thing that they showed off was this amazing John Stewart Green Lantern statue. I'll put the picture up here right now, and as you can see, those eyes and the ring look like they're glowing, but there is no electronics going on right there. It is all paint, guys. Believe it or not, they just picked the correct colors of paint. So with that being said, that is the 3 things I wanted to point out from Sideshow. But the next one, of course, is Walmart Con, and we all love Walmart exclusives, don't we? I mean, raise your hand, leave me a like if you love Walmart exclusives, and I hope you guys know I'm being sarcastic. Although this time it wasn't too bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't too bad. I think the worst part about it is that we're so invested in these Star Wars toys that they don't even have product images. They just have pictures from the cartoon series, and we bought it. Like, we don't even know what it's gonna look like, but we're gonna get it. Well, I mean, hopefully, as long as Walmart doesn't cancel pre-orders like they always do. So that's exciting. So what exactly did they announce? They announced Tchaikovsky-style Clone Wars animated figures in both the Vintage Collection and the Black Series Collection. If you don't know what that is, it is the 2002 Micro Series from Cartoon Network. Um, I do have toys from back then, and I meant to bring them so I can show you guys which figures are going to be revealed and or not revealed but released. But I totally forgot them in the other room, and I'm not going to go get them now. So I will just tell you and show you. So the first one being, they called him ARC Trooper Commander or Captain, or also Captain Fordo. And it's actually so funny and ironic because this guy is the reason I got back into collecting. So at least back into collecting heavy. He was one of the first few figures I bought online. And that's when I realized you can get a lot of old figures online and whatnot, through eBay and Amazon and whatnot. So I have to really give it to him for kickstarting my love for collecting again. And so I'm happy to say I was able to manage to get two, because in my mind, ARC Troopers worked best in pairs. Growing up, when I had my ARC Troopers, I only ever had two. So they've worked in pairs always in my mind. So I wanted two for this, and I was able to get that. So they're releasing him in both the Black Series and the Vintage Collection, and I did manage to get a Vintage Collection one as well. I'm most likely going to leave them in the package, not for any value thing, but just because I don't really collect Vintage Collection. The only other Vintage Collection item that I do have, let me see if I can grab one without knocking everything over, is this new Return of the Jedi Boba Fett figure. This is the only one that I have, and I remember when I got it, I was like, man, this thing's tiny. And I have a bunch of these from my childhood, but after messing with Black Series for so long, this thing's tiny. So that's why I don't really collect Vintage Collection, and just the fact that I have so many still from my childhood. So I only wanted them just because they look cool on the card back, because they're going to have the classic Clone Wars pictures, and they're just going to be really cool figures to have. And like I said, not for any value thing or anything, but just to have it in a display like that. And I really don't have any in-box stuff, to be honest. I do from my childhood, and I think that's what we're going to do in episode 2 of this podcast. Is I'm going to bring that box and show you what I saved from my childhood, and I'm pretty proud of it, because as a kid you want to open up everything, and so I was able to manage to save a few Star Wars toys sealed and everything. For what reason, I don't know, but they're going to stay sealed, because if I had that much self-discipline and restraint as a kid, I'm not going to break it now as an adult. I have plenty of other toys that I can play with. So after him, in the Black Series line, they did also announce Mace Windu and of course General Grievous. I did skip the Mace Windu, but I did grab the General Grievous. Like I said, so much stuff came out in this week and I found so much stuff in hunts. I feel like stores are getting a lot more stuff recently. I had to really pick and choose what I wanted and what I felt like I can, if I find in stores when it's released, I'll get it. So I did manage to get 2 ARC Troopers and a Grievous. But in the Vintage Collection, they also, like I said, were releasing the ARC Trooper in both red and blue. I got one of each of those. They also are doing the Battle Droid, Luminara Unduli, Baroness Offrey, and Ayla Secura. So those are up as well. Like I said, I only got the 2 clone troopers. When I first started collecting again, I only wanted to collect troopers. I quickly broke that rule and dove right into that rabbit hole. But I didn't want anything else from that line. And they will also be in the original Clone Wars 2002 packaging, which is really cool. Because like I said, I did get a few of those figures online, so I have seen it, and it's really cool. So moving on to the next con, of course, we are moving on to MezcoCon. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast that there was another figure besides the Channel 6 News that I missed out on, and that is, of course, the Secret Agent MezcoCon exclusive Gomez. It was up for about 23 hours for pre-order. I was on the fence for about 23 hours, and when I finally came to terms with it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I really want it. I want my first Gomez. I went to the site. I went to the page that I had already on my phone saved. I hit refreshed, and it said join waitlist. So I did join the waitlist. So if I get it, I get it. I highly doubt it because these things are very valuable in the resale market, so they go for a lot. So I feel like even if people have second, like they regrets about buying it, they know they can flip it on the third party market for a lot. So they're probably going to go through with it. I highly doubt I'll get it. If I do, you guys will be the first to know, probably on this podcast, because it's a pre-order and probably coming in September, October. So if I'm going to be getting it, I should know within the next week or so. I don't know. I've never been on a Mezco waitlist. Let me know down in the comments below if you've ever been on a Mezco waitlist and how long you waited to find out if you got in or if you just didn't get that product, unfortunately. So alongside that, the second thing that they announced that I am super excited about, they didn't announce any release date or anything. They just showed off two pictures, is the Gotham by Gaslight Joker. Now, this guy looks super cool. He gives me really classic Joker vibes, like the Man Who Smiles type from exactly like his first few incarnations in comics. So I really am looking forward to that. And despite not having the Gotham by Gaslight Batman, I do want that Joker, and I most likely will get it once he's up for order. So moving on to even more Star Wars, guys. Target had their own exclusive as well as Walmart, and it went a little smoother, and they did announce 3 new carbonized figures, all from The Mandalorian. The first one being the Shore Trooper, the Biker Scout, and of course the brand new newly named I wrote it down right here, Paz Vizsla, because I didn't want to mess it up. And thankfully, they only allowed 1 per customer, which makes sense. These aren't army builders. They're more of just display pieces. They look really nice. The Shore Trooper kind of looked really bad to me. It looks more gold than brown or anything, so I passed up on that. I don't need a shiny carbonized Biker Scout because their outfits aren't like that in the movies or the TV show. It's more of a matter look. So I passed up on that. But Paz Vizsla looked amazing, and I could not pass him up. So I did pre-order him. And Target was only allowing 1 per customer, so they definitely were not army builders. So with that being said, guys, that is all the toy news that I'm going to talk about this week on the first episode of the Coolfigurez podcast. So thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with me, or whenever you're watching this. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you continue to join me for these videos. Let me know down in the comments below anything you want to tell me, what you were excited about during this con season, what you picked up, what you skipped. Let's start a dialogue. Like I said, I started this channel to communicate and talk to more hardcore fans and people that are into collecting just like I am. So please leave comments so we can talk about all this great stuff that was announced. I would love to have dialogues with all of you, and I really do appreciate you guys for spending this time with me. Not this day, but this time with me. I am going to be going to see Snake Eyes tonight, so I'm super excited about that. That will be my first movie back in theaters, and that just looks like a really good movie. It looks action-packed. Have you guys seen Snake Eyes? Let me know down in the comments below if you have. Let me know how you liked it. No spoilers, though. Just let me know how you enjoyed it. So yeah, guys, I had a really great time. This was really fun for me. I hope you guys did as well. With that being said, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really do appreciate it. As always, I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.